In a nutshell, 6 months ago, I was laid off for my job of 18 years in the motorcycle industry, and it wasn't the best breakup. Sudden, swift, heartless. I think those are three words I could pretty much sum it up with. Since then, and having to go through the stress and having to go through the BS to get redundancy money and things like that, I have been pretty much enjoying life. And I know that sounds quite generic, but it's kind of true. I signed on for a bit, which was a necessity because part of the government requirement for getting my redundancy was signing on, and then January I signed off and I set myself up as a self-employed status, and ever since then I have just been going out when I felt like it, to shoot, to film, to practice, to rehearse, to see friends, to hang out, to do new experiences, to do things I simply didn't have the time to do in a 9 to 5. On the backside of that, obviously the money is starting to run out. Doing hobbles and jobs here and there has helped. However, I'm not really in a position where I can say it's sustainable for now because I haven't got the intake. But I'm aware that that's just the price you pay for doing what I'm doing. There's no safety net, there's no guarantee. However, the quality of life, the freedom, balance out the uncertainty and the financial worry, because ultimately I know what I can do and what I can bring to the table. However, it's a case of the hunger to go out and get it is greater. The rewards are probably greater, and I just have to factor in and accept that that's just life now. I mean, don't get me wrong, I could go out to most general supermarkets and get a night stacking job, or I could go to a call center and just be a customer service rep or whatever I chose to do to fill gaps. But even then, I'm just like, it doesn't really appeal to me. I like the freedom. Not that I've been unmanageable, even though I have been told I've been unmanageable, which I kind of see as a good thing. I take pride in that. Especially from a corporate world, not corporate, but an employment world, because I was lucky enough to be in a role where I had creative freedom, I had objectives and performance indicators I could follow and adhere to and make sure I hit. But however, how I achieved them was entirely up to me. So that was the good side of it. But with regards to being unmanageable, I think that was down to a lot of the people not really knowing what it is I was doing and achieving, and that was tiresome. That was tiresome because I felt I had to justify my role all the time because people didn't understand what the role I was doing was. They could see some of the benefit when we hit like dealer standards and stuff, but when it came to day to day, what have you done for 8 hours? Oh, I've filmed a video. You've wasted 8 hours to film in a video. So no, that video will make 2 or 3 sales. So you'll sell a couple of bikes or a couple of product or whatever. So there was always a means to an end, but it wasn't always seen as being a metric that could quantify or justify my salary, shall I say. Which was always nice. When your boss doesn't know what the fuck you're doing. But yeah. So what I'm doing now is I am taking the opportunities I can to go out and try new stuff. Like I've done gig photography, which I've never done before. Event stuff I've done. But it's like fine tuning and tweaking stuff, different hardware now, more modern hardware, more capable, vastly not complicated, but there is nuances I need to iron out and work with, especially as far as regards the editing side of it. I'm reading, which I've never been a reader, but I'm a reader now, which is enjoyable. Granted, I've only read one book, and it was a really good book, and I was invested in it, and I actually wanted to read that particular book, which turned out to be very rewarding. So now I've kind of got that hunger to try the next one and the next one. And the next one I have is a vastly different. It's a how can I say, similar vein or similar avenue, but different author, different writing style. So I might not like it. I don't know. I might love it. Who knows? I've started drinking a lot more coffee again, which is always fun because I'm kind of, day drinking isn't a good thing unless it's tomorrow, because it's Paddy's Day tomorrow and I'm out all day tomorrow, so that's a good day. He says now without any hangover. But realistically, yeah, it's like I spoke to my parents about this yesterday, which my mum was approval about, and my father was just like, okay, as long as you're happy, but I don't really like it. It's just the quality of life. And my ex-colleagues and friends and my close circle have all said that you've got to give it a go. You've got to try. So I'm trying. I'm trying anyway. I'm a very trying person. But, in respect to opportunities and putting myself out there in the creative land in which I sit or am involved with in some kind of way, I'm trying to keep things simple. I mean, I can load up my social media and I can see all these fantastic videographers and all these great podcasts and all these great creative works, shall I say, that have all these posh transitions and color grades and what have you. And I'm simply not to that standard. I can't do that yet. It's something I'm looking into. I'm not dedicating ample amounts of time to it because I'd rather spend my time being organic, authentic, and press and record and just talking, because that's easier for me. But what's the saying? Stick to your strengths, right? And my strengths are waffling and talking and trying to be as authentic and transparent as I can. So that is what I'm doing. So for those who don't really know who I am, which is going to be all of you, because I'm putting this on the internet on a platform I don't really use that much. So there's going to be like 3 people who know me, and the rest of you are going to be, who's this guy? Which is fair enough. But my name is Mike. My name is Michael. I reside in Swansea in South Wales. I guess you can call me semi-professional photographer because I'm doing it for a living now, or I'm trying to do it for a living. I spent 18 years in the motorcycle trade as a marketing and social media manager and creator. I use manager in inverted commas because it was only me doing it. So I assigned myself the role of manager, but I used to change my email signature, not frequently, but at least once a year, just to kind of ad hoc some posh job title in. Because my roles never really changed. It was always the same thing, but if it was a new tagline or something I picked up, like digital creator was, one, I liked that. And there was a few other ones, but that's what I've done. I've worked in the bike trade for 18 years. I've been a photographer, or a student of photography, shall I say, for about 3 to 4 years at this level. And when I say this level, I mean using DSLRs, and then I've gone to mirrorless, using the right equipment and having more of a basic understanding of what the art involves and the finesse behind photography. I've had a few works published with some motorcycle brands, some local businesses, local companies, so it's good enough to be out there. However, on a personal note, I feel like probably the rest of you do, that there's always stuff to do better. There's always that next tier or that next push to make you a better photographer or better artist or better videographer or whatever it is you do. So right now it is 11:30 in the morning on a Monday the 16th of March, and I am sat at my desk talking to you with a mountain of possibilities I could do today, and I've sacked them all off to do this because I think this is more important for me, because I've been putting off doing video for a while. So here we are. Yeah, so my plans for the channel are going to be quite sporadic. I'm going to try and incorporate the majority of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is my photography stuff and my, not necessarily behind the scenes, but my opinions, my workflow, my visions, my creations, my pros, my cons, my mistakes, my solutions, all the nitty-gritty stuff that someone who might also be in a similar situation to me, or someone who just likes to watch other people suffer or celebrate their victories, shall I say, then that's what I'm probably going to be doing here. Yeah, sure, there's stuff I could probably teach or talk about or discuss, but truth be told, right now I think there are far better people out there to do that for you. You know, I'm not trying to be the next anyone to make a living, shall I say, or a course. Nah, that ain't me. There's plenty of better people out there for it. But I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to show you what I get up to, what I've done, what I'm doing, what I plan, what I'm thinking about, what I'm worrying about, what I'm celebrating, that kind of stuff. So if you want to hang around, if you want to get involved, then cool, that'd be great. I do like having a community. You know, again, in my previous employment, in my past life, as I refer to it, I was the social media guy, so I had a big audience, shall I say, and there's a lot of involvement with our customers and myself. So I'd like that to continue, even if it does mean putting up with people hiding behind AI generated baby avatars saying that's the worst camera work they've ever seen in their life, which I had a comment on the other day on a reel of mine. Not a reel, a story. It was a YouTube short, actually. I'm talking nonsense, which is quite fun. So I'm accepting it. I'm waiting for it. Whatever. I don't care. But yeah, that's pretty much what my plans are. And I think Vaynerchuk, Gary V. There we go. He said it best. It's interest media and organic media. And like I said, that's going to suit me better because the whole art and concept of making big, bold, technically savvy videos is this ain't for me. So could this be a vlog? Could it be could be. Sure, why not? How constant, present am I going to be? I don't know. We'll have to gauge how it goes. But other than that, that's pretty much a brief intro of who I am, what I've done, what I'm going to do, and what I know. And you can join me along the way when I learn more stuff. How's that sound? Pretty good? Cool. Okay. And if you want to talk bikes, we can talk bikes. That's fine. If you want me to talk about bikes, then just put a comment down below and ask me a question about bikes or the industry or whatever, and I'll do my best to answer it. If you want to talk about photography, do the same thing. What key am I using? How long have I been doing it? I kind of answered that already, but if you want me to elaborate, then yeah, great, go for it. Other than that, go for it. Ask me stuff. Until then, I am just going to continue filming stuff and see what happens. Speak to you soon. Ciao.